Chapter 200. So, it appears you're afraid of something else. He had just managed to reach the doorknob when he was halted again by an unexpected voice that resonated in his ear. Yiddir barely managed to suppress the urge to turn his head. Even at this moment, the force compelling him was vehemently whispering that he should look back. Well, no matter, as I have said before, I enjoy breaking through walls. He felt the slow approach of footsteps. He thought he should step forward to avoid him, but his feet remained unmoving, as though they were stuck to the ground. And Kishir came to a halt right behind him. Different times are needed to reach certainty after all. Through the light streaming in from the window, Yiddir saw his own shadow being completely overlaid by Kishir's tall form. Their two small shadows on the dark blue door intertwined and stretched out, merging into a single dark mass. The sight was obscenely strange. The door lay before him, Kishir behind him. Trapped in between, his mouth grew dry. To clear his spinning head, Yiddir clenched his fists and closed, then opened his eyes. This was merely an extension of the impulses formed due to their overly intense influence on each other during his second gender manifestation. As time passed, this would surely fade, and they could laugh and converse as if it had never happened. It was nothing. This trembling and heat he felt now would be forgotten later. What's important are the tasks ahead, not this. But what if it wasn't? A snake-like voice whispered in his heart. Can you truly guarantee it will become nothing, Yiddir? Kishir made it clear that he had no intention of backing down until he achieved what he wanted. He was originally a genius at methodically manipulating and releasing his targets until he reached his goal. If such a person continuously pushed, could Yiddir truly resist and refuse him to the end? I probably can't. The answer came very simply. Running away right now was possible. He had always managed to evade this way so far. But every time he backed down from Kishir, even subsequent confrontation resulted in an even more intense pull, striking him like a punishment. As long as the flame he had already felt did not extinguish, it was impossible to escape from this impulse. His instincts made that decision. I was too naive. Yiddir began to regret thinking it would be so easy to stand by Kishir's side to protect him. He had thought that he wouldn't feel anything upon meeting him again due to the emotions from the past life fading, but it wasn't so. The man he met again was much more vivid and human than the faint figure in his memories. So charming that it would be strange not to be drawn to him. Yiddir realized the fact that he could feel such overwhelming emotions towards someone other than himself only when he met him again by rewinding time. The emotions awakened by Kishir Lahore were all things that Yiddir hadn't even thought could exist within him. Neither of them were in heat, and their second gender manifestation had long passed. Yet, this moment by his side felt different in every way from being with anyone else. It felt as though all the desires he had been striving not to acknowledge were abruptly flipped over, revealing their bare, bright red faces. Frankly, he was unsure how long he could resist. If things continued this way, he would undoubtedly lose control of his body, his emotions. The fact that he knew this frightened him. When we touch, when we are conversing, a hand approached Yudhir's silent shoulder, gently touching the door as if to interrupt his train of thought. Sometimes I feel like you are the only one in this world who is like me. Kishir's breath tickled the back of his neck. At the same time, the shadows overlapping the door blurred. I feel a relief, a profound liberation that I hadn't experienced before. It's a sweet and pleasurable sensation. Yudhir exhaled thinly, feeling the sensation of Kishir's hair on his shoulder tickling the back of his neck as though it was a distant sensation. I find it amusing to contemplate how much I can show you. I'm looking forward to the next part, and sometimes I find myself parched with desire, wanting more. Am I the only one who feels this? Could he say he wasn't captivated by him? Yudhir loosened the tense gaze that he had kept on the closed door and the hand resting upon it. A deep sigh naturally slipped out. Damn it. Would it have been better if all he wanted was his body? Just a primal urge, just like in his past life? How could one make a cold judgment after hearing such words? The heat began to rise again in his head, which he thought he had barely managed to cool down. Turn around now. You want to see it, don't you? How could you resist the opportunity to touch something so captivating? The urge continuously prickled underneath his skin, clouding his mind. I think this is wrong. At the words, he barely managed to spit out. The weight of the head resting on his shoulder felt a little heavier. Yudhir endured that weight, murmuring very quietly and slowly. That's why, even though I think I should leave, it's difficult. Then try leaving. A brief phrase that wasn't an order, whispered with a hotter heat than ever before. It's okay if you don't confirm right now. If you leave, I will let you go immediately. But if you turn around now, the force from Kishir's fingers resting above the door increased, a low voice gently covering his ear, enticing him. Then I'll kiss you according to my conviction. A shocking shiver ran down his spine. The moment he turned around, he couldn't tell if it was out of surprise or because he wanted to confirm the face of Kishir who had uttered those words. All he knew was that his head turned unconsciously, and at that moment, the predator who had been waiting pounced as he forewarned. Ah! A faint exclamation echoed in his head before fading away. His mind faded in and out in the ensuing silence. When he regained his senses, Yudhir found himself trapped between the door and Kishir, embraced at the waist by one hand, receiving his kiss. It's hot. Their overlapped lips were so hot that it felt as if he had been burnt. The breath he exhaled, the breath he inhaled, all were stolen by the massive serpent of a man in front of him. He wondered if the mixed heat was turning his head to mush, but such thoughts were sucked into the descending lips and disappeared almost immediately. Had he ever kissed him like this before? He was unsure. The pains of his previous life that always unsettled his heart weren't coming to mind at all right now. All he could be felt was a firm hand encircling his waist and the sensation of the stiff door against his back, his crimson eyes brimming with a savage joy, as if he'd finally obtained the thing he coveted most. And within that joy was his own reflection, equally consumed by a ruthless desire, his mind solely focused on satiating his hunger as he clung to his neck. Hey, Yidr, snap out of it. At the sharp summons, Yidr, about to naturally drop his cup into the soup bowl, caught it just in time and placed it back on the table. Couldn't sleep last night? What's up? Devron, whom he'd run into at the dining hall, studied Yidr's complexion suspiciously, as if expecting some kind of mishap. Nothing's wrong, just lost in thought. Your lips look awfully chapped. Are you sure nothing's wrong? Instead of replying, Yidr raised his hand to touch his lips. He could feel a faint stinging pain indeed. If you're tired, there's no need to supervise the other's training. You should take a break. You're such a workaholic. Who else would have let pass an opportunity to rest for 2 weeks after the manifestation? He wasn't tired. That was the truth. But he couldn't tell Devron the real reason behind his chapped lips. So Yidr wordlessly swallowed a spoonful of soup. His mouth felt unusually sensitive, subtle sensations making themselves felt all around the corners. These unfamiliar sensations reminded him of the incident the previous day, making his mood even stranger. He ended up eating far less than usual and concluded his meal. Are you really not going to the medical division? No need. As he dismissed Devron's concern with a shake of his head, the latter scrunched his brow in disapproval. So, there's only one reason after all. If this is because of the trial of Apetho, stop worrying so much. Father and Dermila, who have come up to the capital, are fine. Why should we fret? You appear unaffected, but you're pretty sentimental after all. Yidr wondered if Devron had detected something, but apparently not. Devron, confident in his misinterpretation, began an unending monologue about the heartened people who'd come up to the capital to answer the summons of Kishir, their families, and the upcoming second trial, patting Yidr's back all the while. Everyone was extremely tense for the first time, but after witnessing the ruckus once, everyone's anger seemed to have given them energy. They are all set to testify every detail of the events from that time, whatever happens this time. That's good. It's all thanks to the commander. Who else but him could provide such a prestigious mansion as a safe house for all those to rest without attracting attention? On the day of the first trial, Yidr, occupied with the manifestation, had stayed in the palace and hadn't heard properly about those who'd come to testify. But judging by Devron's reaction, it seemed like Kishir had taken care of their protection and preparation for the trial. Even if the second prince of Apetho is died, we haven't forgotten a thing. We definitely going to see those bastards fall. So cheer up. With these off-target words of comfort, Devron left the dining hall in high spirits. Yidr watched his retreating figure, let out a small sigh, and turned his gaze towards the window. The sky was clear, and the sound of the members training outside was peaceful. Today, the only thing out of the ordinary here seemed to be either ale